Welcome to Transit Unplugged. I'm your host, Paul Comfort, and today we travel to South Texas, where we visit Jorge Cruz-Aedo, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Corpus Christi Regional Transportation Authority. I visited Jorge in his offices in downtown Corpus Christi, got to meet with the staff, actually taught them one of my classes, The 5 Hidden Flaws of Most Major Transit Systems, which they seem to enjoy, and got to tour the operations and spend some time with Jorge, and found out that he just finished celebrating his 5th year as CEO of the agency. He's got a good background in transportation and also city management, where he was an assistant city manager there for Corpus Christi. The transit agency serves a large service area of 900 square miles. And I was impressed that they have a intermodal transportation facility right in their main office where Greyhound buses meet passengers there, and they've got an inside facility for the passengers to wait. Very nice how he's, as part of his culture change, is making sure that they serve the inner city transportation needs as well. He also tells us about a new pilot he's working on to bring an autonomous vehicle bus to a local college campus. All that on this edition of Transit Unplugged.
What does it mean to be a successful public transit agency? What are you doing to lead the way? It's time to learn from the top transit professionals in North America. This is Transit Unplugged with your host, Paul Comfort.
I'm Paul Comfort, your host of Transit Unplugged, and today I'm excited to be in Corpus Christi, Texas, to meet with Jorge Cruz-Aedo, who is the CEO of the Corpus Christi Regional Transportation Authority. Thanks so much for having us here today.
Paul, welcome to South Texas.
Yeah, this is great here. We're in a beautiful office he's got with a good look over the city and a big bridge back there that you told me is going to be replaced soon, huh?
We're going through a $1 billion bridge replacement.
Wow.
That will be completed in about 2 years' time.
Where does that go to?
It goes to San Patricio County, Rockport, Aransas Pass, Port Aransas,
Gotcha.
And places further north.
So a lot of people across North America maybe aren't clear exactly where Corpus Christi is. Kind of position it for us, where it's next to, and stuff that people may have heard of.
Sure, we're located on the Gulf Coast, the coastal bend in South Texas. We are southeast of San Antonio and southwest of Houston, to kind of give you perspective. We're a very strong, vibrant community, heavy into petrochemicals and agriculture. We have the Port of Corpus Christi, which is 4th or 5th in exports of crude and agricultural products. So a very active port, a very active community, and an area that I'm glad to serve.
All right, is the Padre Islands, or is that part of your area?
To the east is the northern portions of Padre Island, going south all the way down to South Padre Island, close to Harlingen.
So your transit agency itself, tell us about the service area. How many people, miles, whatever.
We have a service area of a little under 900 square miles. So we have a huge area that we serve, and we serve all of it. We do that with various modes. We have a population of around 400,000 in the area that we are servicing, and have annual ridership of around 5.5 million rides per year. An average of around 17,000 rides on a given day.
Okay, very good. And I noticed here at your headquarters, you have a nice integration with intercity transportation as well as your own bus service.
We have a true intermodal system. We have Valley Transit, which runs the local Greyhound service that comes into our facility here, allows those riders to be able to connect to our entire system in the Corpus Christi area. So it's a great unity project that we were able to do, and our community has really appreciated those efforts.
How long have you been CEO here?
I've been CEO. I'll be CEO in a couple of days, 5 years.
Oh, nice.
For the RTA, and was recently blessed to be given a few more years on my contract. So things are going well. And thank you.
Yeah.
Things are going well. Our focus is about the customers, our riders, and most of them are rider dependent. And we stress the customer service with respect and dignity to our riders. They're the ones that need us. About a third of them, of the 5.5, use us to go to work. The other third use us to go to school. Yes, even elementary school students ride our system.
Wow.
Middle school and our universities. And the other third use us for the general life functions that you need transportation. If we weren't in our community, those 5.5 million rides would not have access to transportation in this community. So we value that to a great extent because we want to ensure that we do it timely and that we get them to where they need to be.
And tell us about the modes of service that you operate here.
We're primarily a fixed route system. Mm-hmm. We do have paratransit, which is a ever-growing demand for that service. We also have commuter services. We have
commuter bus?
Commuters.
Right.
We also have park and rides. We also have van pools, which are really growing in our area. And kind of a precursor, we are on the verge of implementing an autonomous vehicle schedule at the Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So we're quite excited about that.
Yeah.
It's scheduled to be operational this fall during the start of the school year for Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Very nice. So tell us a little about your story. How did you end up here as CEO, and what's your background?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a degreed accountant, so I'm a numbers kind of guy.
Okay.
I spent 27 years in local government and rose to the position of assistant city manager here in Corpus Christi. Retired from that and did a little bit of work in the private sector. I knew the previous CEO, and he asked if I could come and help him in the finance areas as his finance officer. I did that as a favor to a friend. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed the service of providing transportation to those in need, and continued to try to do a good job. And several transitions later, after serving several times as interim CEO,
okay,
I was given the opportunity to take over the position. We've enjoyed the 5 years as CEO and 5 years as the Chief Financial Officer here at the RTA.
Okay, so you've been here 10 years?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the things you're proud of that you've been able to accomplish over the last 5 years.
Well, we took over
10 years, actually.
We took over the agency when the community had begun to lose some confidence in their RTA. And that was because we've had some employee situations that we shouldn't have had. We had some managerial issues we shouldn't have done. We had a political situation that was not really conducive to operating an efficient system. Over the last 5 years, I'm very proud to say that we've worked with the board to build board relationships. We've cleaned up our house, so to speak, by establishing what the conduct is we want and expect from our employees. I tell my employees, if you do the right things every day, you can get faulted for the way you comb your hair, but they won't fault you for how you do your work. And we've been able to demonstrate that. We're very transparent. That's a priority here. We do things the right way. We recognize when things aren't perfect by taking quick action. They said we're a no-nonsense organization, and we are. We establish the conduct that we want for our employees. We establish the benchmarks we want for our system. We look at the data to be sure that we are meeting the needs of the community and evaluating our employees against what they need to be doing. In other words, we make everyone accountable for their roles here and have those expectations, and we measure against that. 5 years ago, if the RTA was doing something, there were many questions about what we were doing. Today, the expectation is the RTA is rolling out something good that the community can experience. So from being questioned for everything we were doing to being supportive in everything we do, we've come a long way, and I'm very proud of that.
So it sounds like, if I were to summarize, tell me if this is right. So you focused on improving the culture of the agency, and then you worked on making it more transparent to the community as you were able to improve that, while at the same time establishing the key performance metrics that you hold yourself accountable to, as does the community, to make sure your performance is also where it needs to be.
That's correct.
And now you're on a place to expand maybe and try some new things.
We have the confidence now from the community and our board to begin to offer new innovative solutions to our mobility needs in this community.
That's great. So tell me some about how you're structured. You mentioned the board a couple times. Mm-hmm. You have a board, and how are they appointed, those kind of things. Sure. What's your governance structure?
We have an 11-member board. 5 of those members are appointed by the city of Corpus Christi, our largest city.
Okay.
We have 3 members that are appointed by Nueces County, which is our largest county that we serve. And then we have 2 members that are appointed by the small mayors. Since we do go into San Patricio County a little bit, and we do have several smaller communities in Nueces County, the committee of mayors, as we call them, they have 2 seats that they can appoint. So that makes 10. Mm-hmm. And then from the board themselves, they get to elect a chair. It can be from within, or it can be someone external. And then that chair, in essence, comprises the 11th member of this board. It has worked well. They're not elected to the position. They're appointed. They have 2-year terms. And there's a cap of 6 years of service before they are termed out, so to speak.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And do all those jurisdictions contribute financially to the agency?
Every entity, small cities, San Patricio, part of San Patricio County, Nueces County, all of Nueces, and the city of Corpus Christi are all contributing 0.5%, 5.5% sales tax to the RTA.
Okay.
And that helps us operate the system. So the sales tax and fares pays for the operation of the system. We use our federal funding that we become eligible for through formula and our competitive grants for our capital acquisitions that we have.
Okay.
We have being what I call a small urban system in Texas, right. We have very good equipment that we give our employees to provide the service. So the 2 greatest assets I have is that equipment and those employees that are committed to doing a good job.
How many employees do you have?
We have 250 authorized positions. I wish I could fill all my operators.
Yeah.
But I have 250 authorized, and we're around 210, 220 at any given point in time. And I have 150 employees through MV, our contractor of paratransit and some of our fixed route services. Okay. So a total, about 400 employees that we operate.
And what's your annual operating budget?
We operate with around $40 million a year, and we're sustainable. We are able to look at new innovative programs to improve our fixed route services and other services. I'd like to challenge our employees to keep moving forward and keep doing good things for the community.
Now you've got, in Texas, do I understand this right, that you have authority to go up to 1 full cent on sales tax to support paratransit?
We don't here in Corpus because there are several components that other entities can do, and I know the city of Corpus Christi, through their seawall, through their crime prevention, through their economic development, have all the slots filled.
Oh, I got you. But you're able to make it work with a half cent.
At a half cent, we're doing good, and I'm blessed that we have a dedicated funding source that many this country do not have.
Yeah, even in Washington, D.C., where I used to work some at WMATA, they're the largesse of the community has to be determined every year.
Yeah. I joke with some of my peers in the industry because at 75 cents per ride, I'm one of the lowest fares in the country.
Oh, that's your fare?
Yeah.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah. And in fact, I
75 cents a ride.
I kid with my board that when I was in Thailand visiting some family that I have there, it was cheaper to ride my system in Corpus than it was to ride buses or rail in Bangkok, Thailand.
Yeah, I bet you.
Yeah.
Are your buses diesel fueled or?
We have a diversity. The majority of our fleet, including paratransit vehicles, are compressed natural gas.
Oh, okay.
Texas compressed natural gas.
There you go, yeah.
So
Fort Worth is big on that too, they told me. Yeah.
It's saving us approximately $1.5 million a year in our fuel costs.
Wow.
Yeah. The remaining portion of the fleet, around 25-30%, is still diesel, and we like that mix. We will probably introduce a mix of some electric over the next few years to help us have a diverse fleet, so that no matter what the situation is, we are able to provide service. I say that because one of our primary functions as part of the city's emergency management plan, since we are hurricane prone, but not just solely for that. We participate and have an emergency plan that calls on the RTA to provide emergency evacuations for the entire community. And as I said, if it's 900 square miles, we have a huge area to evacuate. That's why it's important to have a fleet that's diversified. That's why it's important to have a fleet that is also diversified, not only in fuel, but in size and capacity, because we will be called upon, as we were during Harvey, to implement the service. We take that very seriously because it's extremely important for the safety of our community that we work tandem with our county and our cities to evacuate the community.
That's good. Yeah, that's very important. So tell me about what you've got. So that's kind of the scope of your service. Tell me about what's coming, like what's in your capital budget, what new programs do you have coming, maybe a little bit about your new autonomous vehicle.
Well, we do have a program with autonomous vehicles that we're looking to implement in an uncontrolled environment. And by that I mean it's not a dedicated pathway. We're going to have students and cars and traffic to work through. But the autonomous circulator is going to be on campus at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. It's part of the Texas A&M system in the state of Texas. That circulator will be able to operate on campus throughout the year, not only fall and spring, but also the summer sessions. It'll operate 8 hours a day on campus and provide the students with autonomous vehicle capacity inside the campus. In Texas, you don't want to walk long stretches in the summertime because it gets pretty warm. And we're pretty tropical, so it's important for us to have air conditioning, and obviously we'll have heating. So that'll be a big plus for our ridership. And it's going to add about 80,000 riders to our system. So we're excited about that. But that's from a service perspective, and that'll be offered hopefully this fall in August of 2019. We've already acquired the property, but we're looking to demolish and rebuild our Port Air Station. That's the second largest facility we have in the transfer business here.
Yes.
It's on our west side, which is the area that has a large number of our riders. We've acquired a bank that we're going to be demolishing so that we can expand the transfer station. We're expanding it because the old design provides too many nooks and crannies that are not conducive to providing a safe environment. And it'll be an open side of line to, in essence, provide some additional safety measures for our customers. It also gets us off the public roads so that we can do our transfers in protected areas. And we are on the verge of beginning the demolition of the bank. So if anyone looking to acquire some safe deposit boxes or a safe, let us know. Yeah. I happen to have a few.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that. That's about a $6 million project.
Wow.
We are also working with our local community college, Del Mar. They're going to build a new campus on the south side of the community. Our south side has the highest density of population in the community. It has an untapped number of riders that we want to attract to the system. We've worked with them. They're dedicating the land, and we're going to be putting a substation on campus to help get the students to Del Mar and also help us with attracting new riders in that area. There'll be 2 stations that make up the components, a partnership with the college. They're not charging us for the land. We'll be, in essence, building some new facilities out there. That's
stretch the routes out there and all that.
Correct. And allow us to move further south where the density is.
Yeah.
And that's about a $2.5 million project when all is said and done. And then I said a good repair, the less glamorous things is we need to look at our maintenance facility and make improvements to the pads we have out there. When we bought that facility about 20 years ago, it had the thickness of the aprons of 6 inches. And by transit professional friends out there, you need at least 8. And we're having failure, so we need to go ahead and begin apron work out there. And that's probably about another $1.5 million or so that we're looking at. You got to keep what you got, and you got to keep it in good working order.
Right.
Our peak pull is about 57 buses, and I need to get them out and ready to go.
Do you have an annual replacement program for them? Or?
We do have replacement programs. Our spare ratio is a little on the high side right now, but we're transitioning a few buses out and working on that.
For me, as a former CEO, I always had too many spares too. But I always felt like it's better to be safe than sorry.
You got to meet
pull out.
Yeah. So, and those are kind of the projects that we have, and obviously the equipment on rotation. Again, I always want to give my employees the best equipment to work with, and I ask that they do the best job that they can with the customer focus. Mm-hmm. They're doing that. I would put my agency up in comparison to any other. Yeah. And
I met your staff this morning at your staff meeting. You've got a tremendous team who is supporting you, your professional team.
They're committed, and we joke regularly. I say, these aren't jobs; these are lifestyles, because you got to love what you do.
That's right.
And if you love what you do, then you do it even better than if it's just an 8-to-5 job.
Yep. Tell me about the safety component of your system. Do you have your own road supervisors or police department, or do you work with the city, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a good question, because obviously safety is number one concern,
right?
Whether it be for the customer or the employee. We do have our own road monitors that routinely are out there. We also have contracts with individual police officers to staff our needs. We have police officers at all our stations. We have police officers that rove our system. We have police officers that ride our system. And we have police officers that are available to be deployed within the day at any facility. So we spend a lot on law enforcement. We have a great pool of police officers to pick from. Not only do we have the Corpus Christi Police Department, but we have the Nueces County Sheriff's Department. We have the school districts that we use. We use the constables here. We even use Texas Department of Public Safety officers to do the work. So we use quite a bit, and we have a good pool that we can draw from. So we have individual contracts with the officers to provide safety for us.
That's good.
We're in the downtown area, so we have the typical problems that people have in downtown. We do have some homeless situations and others, but I view that to be something that we just need to work to be sure that we provide safety. Homeless and transit agencies, we provide safe zones for that. If you're homeless, what better place to be than at the RTA, because we provide police protection. There's facilities here they can use, and so long as you provide them the services they need and do it in a respectful way, things tend to work out better than just trying to keep them out. So,
I noticed here at your facility, I was here early this morning and saw out back where you have your, what do you call that, your bus lane or?
Correct.
Yeah, so you had monitors there who were helping people. Mm-hmm. That's really good. Do you have that? I mean, is that a regular part of your program where somebody's at these bigger hubs explaining to people how to use the system and things?
In fact, for example, we even run our police officers through customer service training, not through their normal law enforcement initiatives, but what we need in the areas of customer. We train them on our routes, we train them on our schedules, so that they can
provide information. Yeah,
they're not there just to harass people. They're there to help you and provide safety for you. As I said, our focus is customer service. So the whole organization is centered on providing the best customer service to whoever that rider is.
That's great. I'm hoping you're willing to talk about this some, because I think it's so unique that other transit agencies can learn from you about how you acquired this facility and how you lease out some of it. Mm-hmm. You built a little bit more so you'd be ready for the future. In the meantime, you've turned it into a revenue center. Can you tell us anything about that? I think it's very unique.
We built a 90,000 square foot facility, a building.
Yes, which we're sitting in right now.
Office building. Yeah. And it had a price tag of $34 million. And to help finance that, we put together a package that included not only tax-exempt financing, but taxable financing. In other words, when you get your interest payment from the RTA, that's a taxable amount that you got to include in your income tax. Unlike many other tax-exempt finance where your dividends are not taxable. And we did it with the intent of overbuilding the facility. People are going to say, my God, why did you overbuild? Well, that would give us an opportunity to lease portions of it out so that we could help offset some of our costs.
Tell them about what you guaranteed, how you guaranteed future revenue for it.
In Texas, you can't pledge sales tax. You can't commit sales tax to pay the debt. So what I did is...
And that's your primary funding source.
That is
right.
About 85% of our funding. So I took the other portion and not called it fair, but called it system revenue. All the systems all the monies I get from everything else.
Yes.
And I pledged the system revenue to help repay the debt. That ended up being more than enough because I can even use my lease payments that I get as a forum to repay the debt.
It's very creative. Only a mind of a CFO would figure that out like you've got. That's very good.
So we took it, and I've leased out about 49% of my building. And I leased it out within months of opening. And if you know any commercial building, you know you always have vacancies.
Right.
We have a very nice facility. Public transportation's right outside the door.
Exactly.
You can access it. City Hall is across the street. The county courthouse is 2 blocks over. The independent school district is 2.5 blocks over. So we're right smack in the middle of the downtown area. We took what we consider blighted property pieces, put them together, and through this transit development, we were able to build this 90,000 square foot facility.
And this is where all your administrative staff is?
All the administrative operating departments here.
Okay, yes.
Our maintenance facility and the ops center is at another facility. But we operate it. We take about 51% of the building. I have 49% of the building leased out to tenants.
And they're paying for the majority of your
and they
lease payments,
coincidentally pay for 51%.
That's awesome.
So the more than half of my operating cost of this building is paid for by the tenants. And as our need for office space grows over time, then we will be able to take up more of the building. It was a program that we looked at not just for the short term, not just for 5 years, not just for. It's a 50-year program that by the 50th year, we will likely be the primary users of this building.
Yeah, I think that's just brilliant that you plan for it. Everybody knows construction costs only continue to go up. And when you have downtown property, it's hard to pull all that together as you go forward. So getting all that done and pledging future leases to help pay for it, it's really good, Jorge. That's a great, very unique. I haven't heard anybody else tell me a story like that, how they got their facility. So that's great.
It has worked well. And again, the facility is, as you can tell, a nice facility. It's what they call it a Class 4 building, which is kind of an upper level building. And my comments to our stakeholders were, when they built the White House, they didn't build the White House with the mentality if you wanted to low bid the thing. You built it with marble, you built it with amenities that would last forever. And I took that approach here with this community to say, my critics called it a Taj Mahal, but now that we're in it and we're fully occupied, not one criticism from anyone on this building.
That's great. As we're wrapping up our time, let's talk a little bit about what the future holds. I mean, I've been very impressed with the state of Texas in their transit systems. I've visited Dallas and a lot of your neighbors, Fort Worth, met with Paul Ballard, there, and over to Austin recently and San Antonio and now here. Tell us, do you all work together in an association, or how do you all work together as agencies?
Well, we do have in Texas the Texas Transit Association, and it's an association that is mostly made up of CEOs of the 100 or so transit authorities that are here. I mean, we have many of them are rural, and many of them have different transit needs than the urbans.
Sure, yeah.
But I have learned a lot from my peers, DART, Houston Metro, and Trinity, and Cap Metro, and VIA.
Great systems.
Oh, yeah. The CEOs there have shared much of their knowledge with me. I've only been a CEO for 5 years. And I've only been in transit 10 years. And the knowledge they have voluntarily shared with me, the willingness to hear when I have a concern and I say, hey, I'm dealing with this. How have you dealt with it? And to hear the honest and forward dialogue with my peers in Texas is tremendous. And The network here is very strong, and I'm an officer of it.
Okay.
And forward to continuing to work with them.
Good. And your executive director used to work for me at MTA.
Correct.
He was in my legislative office, Eric.
Correct.
Yeah, and just won big time on Jeopardy. One of the big winners.
He did.
Yeah, Eric Batten. So, well, this is great, Jorge. I think what you've built together with your team here is a real example of a small urban system running at full capacity. You're running, kind of hitting on all 8 cylinders. You've got the culture. I can tell I spent a couple hours with your staff this morning. They are engaged, motivated, intelligent people who are working kind of hand in glove with you and the city to make this the optimal transit system you could have. I'm very excited for your system here and the future that you've mapped out, and look forward to continue to watch you grow and improve and be a model for other cities this size across North America.
Yeah. Paul, thank you, and you're always welcomed here at Corpus Christi, Texas.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Transit Unplugged, powered by Trapeze Group. To stay up to date, subscribe on iTunes or Google Play, or join the conversation at transitunplugged.com. Thanks for listening.